Hi Swati ji, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. How is the movie, The Vaccine War today?
So I feel that, as a physician who has spent a lot of time creating guidance for COVID during the COVID times and not remembering much about what happened in the last 3 years of my life, I think it was a wonderful movie to kind of show the story of people like us, women like us, and our families, right? Our children, our husbands, and those untold, stories, right? That will just kind of get buried in the history of this pandemic. So I really appreciate them making this movie because it tells the story of a lot of, healthcare workers, physicians, scientists who have put their lives, like people in the army, for the last 3 years and, set their families aside for that. The other thing is, it also, and I appreciate that they talk about how misinformation travels, and I hope that people realize that how important vaccines are, properly researched vaccines like the Covaxin, like the other vaccines that many countries have made and are willing to take those vaccines to prevent, loss of life that we all wanted so bad, right, when COVID was raging. So I certainly hope that people pay attention to the fact that misinformation is a disease in itself and that we need to immunize ourselves against that as well. Thank
Absolutely, Swati. What is the award today you got from I Am Buddha?
Oh, yes, I was so honored to receive this award on the service that I provided during the time of COVID to provide guidance, work with CDC and CMS for saving lives and for vulnerable elderly in post-acute care facilities.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for being frontlining and serving the people during the tough time. Abhishek ji, so tell us your experience about the movie today, The Vaccine War.
Yeah, it was a great movie, and there were many moments almost made us cry because we could see pieces of our lives in there. And I do remember specifically about this vaccine when it was being administered. We got a lot of calls from our families back home whether they should take it or not. And I looked at the data and I said, just take it because the data is showing that it's effective. Don't go by what the media is coming out or saying. What you have is a good vaccine and eventually it's going to prove itself, and it did. And so this movie was definitely something that is going to clear further doubts in people's mind. Like they keep talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. I mean, I think this is definitely an example of that. And we really appreciate them making this movie because of all those reasons.
Thank you, Abhishek and Swati ji. I think it reminds like 3 years back. If you see, there are a lot of situations we can recall during this time.
Yeah.
Dr. Abhishek, do you have any situation you want to share during the COVID time which was very memorable to you?
Yeah, so the day the real emergency hit, I was actually going to the hospital and there were no masks. And I had to see patients in the ICU and there were no masks. I just, sometimes we were wearing homemade masks that our medical assistants were making in the offices, and we were distributing it to doctors and patients. And literally, that was a moment that I remember like we were risking our lives. And Swati ji got COVID, and why she got it? Because there were no N95 in nursing homes where there were so many COVID patients, and they were like 1 or 2 N95, and they said, "Doctor, you take this mask." And she said, "No, I'm not going to wear the mask unless everybody has N95. I'm not going to wear it."
Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.